It was shocking. It's something that you can't believe it's happening in front of you.
All I knew was it was very dangerous.
We need to close that scene down as soon as we can so we're not losing evidence. We still don't really know what occurred.
I'm trying to get as much of the truth as possible.
What's really happened?
This case had far-reaching consequences.
She felt something wrong was happening and she was trying to correct it.
Welcome to Crime Beat. I'm Anthony Robart. Tonight, a dramatic scene in the middle of the busy Trans-Canada Highway as it cuts through the city of Calgary. As a shocking altercation between a pedestrian and a heavy-duty pickup truck escalated, dozens of witnesses were left wondering why. Here now is Nancy Hixt with a fatal decision.
On a warm spring morning in June of 2015, Calgarians were soaking up the sunshine. But the mood was quickly darkened by a chaotic turn of events.
Just after 11 a.m. on Sunday, the 7th of June 2015, I was called by one of my officers to be notified that there had been a serious injury collision. And it appeared to be domestic related. A female struck by a vehicle, some sort of shouting, some sort of disturbance.
It happened in a busy commercial area in front of numerous witnesses.
It was shocking. It's something that you're just, you can't believe it's happening in front of you.
Emmett Yang was driving when it all unfolded.
This F-350 came booming out of the parking lot and I had to swerve to miss him and pulled in front of him. He came out of the Home Depot parking lot fast, overshot the first lane and tried to pull into the middle lane right away. And at that time, a woman was screaming as she was chasing the truck and there was a red light. We were all stopped at the intersection.
Everything was happening very quickly, and in the background, Emmett heard another woman yelling.
There was a very distinct voice, and I remember seeing her scream, "Get down, get down, get off the truck, you're going to get hurt." And she repeated similar words at least 3 times, screaming them.
I was watering plants at Home Depot. I just saw this big truck drive in a pretty aggressive manner out onto 16th Avenue, facing west. And then I saw this woman running behind, but he did stop before he got onto the roadway, so I was able to get his license number. And then once he turned out, I could see a woman running. She went right out onto the roadway without stopping, without looking. She just ran out and she pounded on the passenger side window. The vehicle stopped almost in front of me. Everything kind of just closed in on that scenario. As soon as she stepped onto the roadway, I said, "Come back here." I was really screaming at her. I said, "Come back here, I've got his license number." I said, but like screaming in a way that I really wanted to get her attention. She didn't look at me, I'm sure she didn't hear me. At this time, I knew that things were really not gonna go well. She actually took a step onto the bumper and then hoisted herself up onto the hood of the truck. Now this is a really big truck, and so she had to, I couldn't process the physicality of it all. I just really could not process what I was seeing.
She was climbed up on the hood to try and hinder him from moving.
I remember consciously thinking, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I saw the truck lurching, trying to scare her off of the hood of the truck. It lurched 3-4 times.
And I turned as soon as he accelerated and moved because I knew there was no positive outcome that could happen as a result of what I was witnessing.
She lost her footing, and this part is definitely slow motion. I saw her go under the front wheel of the truck, and then milliseconds later, I saw her go under the dual wheels in the back, and the truck lurch up, and her on the ground, rolled over, eyes shut, and I don't know if it was blood coming out of her mouth, but to this day I can see it.
Witnesses watched in disbelief. The offending truck fled the scene.
He darted right away. He hit the gas, traffic had broke. He immediately went into the right lane and turned very fast onto 19th Street. I just thought, no, and I followed him. I don't know why, and I just hit the gas. I put my car sideways around onto the turn onto 19th Street, and then he started picking up speed, and we were probably in excess of 120 kilometers an hour in a 50 zone. I remember grabbing my phone to try and take a picture of the license plate, and I just said, we're just going too fast. I can't do that. But I do recall that we were just passing people. He went into oncoming traffic. I pulled out slightly and crossed the yellow a little bit to keep up, and I don't know why. I just kept on following. There was a bunch of cars parked on the side here, and the truck almost took out a row of cars here. We must try to take that corner doing about 40 or 50 kilometers an hour. We're driving erratically through this area. It's nice out. Kids are playing on the lawn, and I just thought, I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm going to hit a kid. And yeah, I just backed off, and then the adrenaline started fading off, and I just realized, what am I doing? I'm a dad, I'm not Batman.
The driver of the heavy-duty pickup was gone, and the victim was badly injured. Several witnesses rushed to her aid, while others called for help.
I kept thinking, don't move her, leave her, just leave her where it is till the ambulance gets here. I wasn't looking there because I didn't ever see her on the ground. I never looked, I just couldn't look. But I just kept yelling at people, and people were just, I don't know, people were just in shock. I mean, it was a shocking situation.
Welcome back to Crime Beat. A shocking scene on a major Calgary thoroughfare left witnesses horrified and a woman clinging to life in hospital. It was initially believed to be a domestic incident until investigators discovered surveillance video that told a much different story. Here again is Nancy Hixt with a fatal decision.
EMS and police responded to multiple 911 calls and found a woman badly injured in the middle of 16th Avenue, the Trans-Canada Highway as it cuts through the city of Calgary. The woman, unconscious but breathing, was rushed to hospital.
The pedestrian had sustained life-threatening injuries, and we still didn't really know what occurred, other than the fact that she'd been run over by a vehicle and that the vehicle had fled the scene.
Officers closed the major thoroughfare and taped it off as a crime scene.
With a hit and run, it's even more imperative for us to close the roadway, because another vehicle driving over there can pick up a piece of the suspect's vehicle, can be caught up in treads of another vehicle's tires or whatever it may be. So we need to close that scene down as soon as we can so we're not losing evidence. The immediate area is fairly commercial. There's petrol stations there, or gas stations, restaurants, fast food places, and what have you. North Hill Mall is just to the south of the collision location. There's a fire hall very nearby. So it's a fairly busy area.
Each witness was interviewed. Police canvassed businesses for CCTV as the collision reconstruction unit gathered evidence from the scene.
We had a fairly distinctive scuff mark on the roadway, which indicated the dually tyres. The marks that we saw, or that we identified, were consistent with an acceleration mark. It wasn't a braking mark. So this was a vehicle that the driver had stamped on the accelerator, the wheel started spinning before it started to move, and we had this very clear path of travel initially on the roadway. The initial information we had was that it was a large F350 type vehicle with dually wheels, so the side-by-side wheels on the back of the vehicle itself, and we had a plate for the vehicle. That vehicle came back as stolen. So it became even more imperative to try and find this vehicle as soon as possible. We can't do anything until we have the vehicle. So we're out, we're doing what we call a grid search, checking all the roads in the immediate vicinity, looking for this particular vehicle.
The victim had suffered skull and neck fractures, a bruised lung, and severe injuries to her legs. She was clinging to life in hospital.
So we established fairly quickly that the pedestrian was Mariam Rashidi, who was an employee at the Sentex gas station.
That's when police discovered new evidence that proved the strange and senseless incident wasn't a domestic dispute after all.
Because we were able to get the manager to come down to the gas station itself, we were able to get hold of the CCTV footage fairly quickly. And that told us the story. It showed the truck coming into the gas station. It showed, if I remember correctly, the passenger getting out of the vehicle, filling the vehicle up with gas, and then basically them leaving. We established that this had actually been a drive-off, theft of petrol from a nearby gas station, and it appeared that she was trying to stop them from fleeing the scene. I recall the video showing Mariam rushing out of the gas station, the actual office itself, running up to the vehicle and basically chasing it out of the gas station forecourt.
Surveillance cameras then lost both the truck and Mariam Rashidi.
The pedestrian was in hospital, under care in the intensive care unit. So again, I couldn't speak to her. During the course of the theft of the petrol, they filled up with something like $113 worth of diesel fuel, and basically drove off once they filled up.
Police believed she was trying to stop a gas and dash.
Certainly when I spoke to her husband later, there was some sort of feeling that if the vehicle got away, her pay would be docked by the amount that actually went missing. This was completely untrue. Speaking to the manager, he goes, it's the cost of doing business, we get drive-offs.
Bilking and make off without payment back in 2015 was fairly common. That was before you had to go in and pay for your fuel before you could get gas. So that in itself wasn't. For somebody to be stopped by that attendant and then, with no regard for them, try to shake them off the front of the vehicle and drive off and leave that person lying on the ground, that was unusual.
Concerned that valuable forensic evidence would be lost, the race was on to track down the truck and the driver.
We took the unusual step of releasing photographs of the driver and the passenger from the vehicle, and had them shared amongst the media fairly quickly.
She was trying to stop a thief from speeding away. Now she's in hospital and the man is on the run. Police are looking for a copper-colored Ford F350 with dual wheels in the back and Alberta license plate EUX378. The suspects are described as 20 to 25 with a slim build. The driver had brown hair, the passenger had blonde hair.
A member of the public actually contacted the police and said that a vehicle had been abandoned at the back of their house.
This is that big, huge puzzle piece that we need in any hit-and-run investigation. I ensured that the vehicle was forensically photographed at the scene where it was found, with lots of detail, because once it starts to move, I may lose evidence from the vehicle.
The truck was towed for further examination by forensic crime scenes investigators. It was scoured for possible prints and DNA.
In this particular instance, tire marks were important. The actual tread pattern from the vehicle we photographed, and later when we went to see Miriam, we seized her clothing. We actually had the tread pattern from the tyres on her clothing. So we had that extra piece that puts that vehicle there, and being the one that ran her over. On top of that, we had a scuff mark on the bumper of the vehicle, which had, well, it wasn't a scuff mark, it was an imprint of her clothing actually on the bumper. And when we did the match up there, we were quite happy that this definitely was the vehicle that did the drive off and that Miriam had some sort of contact with, which led to the collision itself.
That's when the case took a devastating turn.
The victim of a hit and run at a gas station has now died. Mariam Rashidi passed away earlier this afternoon.
The sad thing is, this is over $113. A wife and a mother of a 6-year-old boy is dead over $113 in unpaid gas. That's a pretty harsh reality for this family who came to Canada just a few months ago to build a brighter future.
She was the best thing that I had. She was a kind mom. She was very responsible. We wanted to begin a better life, and we wanted to find a better job, but unfortunately we lost both of them.
Mariam and her husband Ahmad moved to Canada in late 2014 from Iran. They were both engineers and landed jobs in the oil and gas industry. But a downturn in the economy left them both laid off. Mariam took a job at the gas station to make ends meet. The day she was run over, she was working her 4th shift.
Right now I'm worried about of my son because he asked me, where is mom? Why my mom died? I don't know what should I tell him.
His only solace was that her death would give others a chance to live.
We decided to do body organ donation at the 3rd day that Mariam was in coma. And today I received a call from hospital and they told me that Mariam's organs was wonderful, was okay for doing donation. I'm glad about that that 6 people can survive, and it's enough for me, and I think for Mariam it's enough for, yeah, it makes me happy.
So once we found out that Mariam Rashidi had passed away, this ramped up our investigation from basically a simple hit and run investigation into a fatality investigation. And with the circumstances surrounding the whole incident, we started looking at the possibility of manslaughter charges or even murder charges, dependent on what evidence we gathered and also after consultation with the Crown.
As traffic collision experts worked to recreate what happened, they put together a detailed timeline.
So this whole incident happened within half a block to a block. We start off at the Centex gas station. The offender drove through the Home Depot parking lot and exited onto 16th Avenue where the emergency gate is for the fire department. My world is in seconds. When I deal with a collision is over and done with in about 1/8 of a second. And that's from the initial contact and vehicle separating. This is a hit and run like this. This happened in seconds. Think about a vehicle pulling into a forecourt, guy getting out, filling with gas, putting the nozzle back into the pump and driving off. Maybe a minute. Her reactions to come and stop them, add another 30 seconds to getting onto the hood, and then the collision. So everybody's life has changed in 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And that's what this entire thing was.
The case became high profile, and there were renewed calls for pay before you pump legislation.
Like make it mandatory for everybody to prepay or pay at the pump.
All employees should be trained for safety.
This wasn't the first time there'd been a drive-off. If I recall correctly, there'd been one in BC where a gas station attendant had been killed. And certainly this one involving Miriam was the impetus in certainly Alberta to make it a requirement to pay before you fill up.
If you are restricted to obtaining fuel only when you prepay, then gas and dashes can't occur. It might be a stolen credit card, but at least there's a payment. But when you're able to take fuel without paying for it, it encourages gas and dashes. If the Centex gas pump had required prepayment, then this wouldn't have occurred either.
The push for change would take time.
Yeah, then we have him driving away.
But at that moment, the service priority was to identify the driver of the truck. That's when the release of CCTV images to the media led to a break in the case.
We were able to identify Joshua Mitchell. As I recall, Mitchell was known to us, a petty criminal, essentially.
The identity of the suspect was corroborated by fingerprints on a large McDonald's cup found in the driver's side center console of the stolen Ford F-350 truck.
So from that point, we were then trying to identify where those people were located. So inquiries were made to identify home addresses, places that they frequented, and officers were sent to those locations to track those people down. The passenger was found first. I think he understood the severity of what was happening and was affected by what had happened. And he said to us that yes, it was Joshua Mitchell, and that he was prepared to stand up in court and say that.
Police got a tip that Joshua Mitchell had been couch surfing and ended up at this Northwest Calgary home.
My friend asked if he could stay here for a bit because he had nowhere to go because he got kicked out. And my mom said it was okay for him just to stop by and have a place to sleep.
They said they were shocked to find their home surrounded by police, with Mitchell refusing to come out.
I find that really stupid, to be honest. The fact that he could just stay in the house and not have told anybody just puts a lot of other people at danger.
It was a volatile and unpredictable situation. The TAC team, K9, and negotiators were brought in as a standoff ensued.
Folks, get up by your house, please. Thank you.
And that's why we use negotiators, to get a peaceful solution to what's going on.
This went on for hours until finally Mitchell came out and gave himself up.
I was advised later on the evening, about 9 o'clock, that Mitchell had surrendered himself. But based on the time of day, it was reasonable that they be put down for a rest period and that we would interview them early the next morning.
Joshua Mitchell was charged with criminal negligence causing death, hit and run causing death, and dangerous driving causing death.
Well, we've learned that the accused in this case, Joshua Cody Mitchell, was out on bail for a charge of dangerous driving when Sunday's fatal gas and dash happened.
Despite Mitchell's criminal history, news of the arrest provided some comfort to Miriam's family.
I was able to tell him that we had 2 people in custody, and the fact that we had the vehicle, the fact that the investigation was progressing very well. This is 11 years after the event now, and it still sort of wells up a little bit, the lump at the back of the throat, thinking about what happened that day, because it was so preventable.
Mourners filled a Calgary funeral chapel just days after the violent gas and dash killed Miriam Rashidi.
We were sad and angry that such a beautiful life has been taken away for such a cruel act by some young people.
Miriam's husband spoke through a translator.
همه از رویم و به سوی او باز می‌گردیم.
To God we belong, and to him we shall return. My son Kurosh and I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your presence here. She's not here to make it to the end, the journey we both began 4 years ago. Mariam was only 36 years old. We challenged all the barriers to immigrate to Canada with enthusiasm and passion.
Her father spoke to the room on the phone from Iran. Still struggling to comprehend that his mother was gone, their 6-year-old son didn't attend the funeral.
He thinks dying is temporary. Actually, he knows his mom has died. But yesterday he told me, I will come back when Mama become alive.
Among the mourners were the police officers who had investigated her death. As Mariam was taken to her final resting place, police turned on their lights and sirens. They provided an escort for the procession and a special showing of support for the family. In the meantime, with Joshua Mitchell in custody, investigators hoped an interview might elicit a confession.
I don't think I've met you before. I've probably done over 50 accused homicide interviews.
Detective Ray Bangloy does undercover work, so we aren't showing his face in the interview.
But I knew he was 20 years old, lived in Calgary, had a history of kind of minor offenses, but mainly property crimes and stealing vehicles. So I knew the victim was Mariam Rashidi, who had only worked at Sentex Gas for a short time after being laid off from an engineering job in the oil and gas industry, and that about $113 was stolen in a gas drive-away from the stolen Ford truck.
I'm Detective Ray Bangloy, Calgary Police Service. Okay, that's my old raggedy badge. I'm a detective with the homicide unit. How you doing?
The interview continued for hours.
He was respectful. You could tell he was a little bit standoffish, maybe a little bit nervous. Obviously, he knows that he was there for serious offenses. So again, it's just trying to create that environment where he's, willing to tell the truth.
So you were born and raised here in Calgary? Yeah. What part of town?
All over. It went bad with my parents and I had to move out.
Yeah. How's your dad?
Squirrely.
Squirrely? As in what?
Anger issues.
Yeah.
But it did seem like, that childhood really kind of scarred him. And I'm trying to get as much information from him and being able to use that with the interview, because obviously Miss Rashidi had a family and it was a very emotionally charged event.
What do you want me to tell the victim's family?
I don't know.
Making him feel comfortable in the interview is important. Him being able to trust me was another thing. So when asking him questions, you don't want him to hold back. What were his true feelings about it? What were his true thoughts about it? And he got pretty explicit.
Gets out, fills the tank, jumps in the side. When he was done, he cut up and took off. He told me some bitch was chasing us down.
Yeah. And what did he say to that? That's what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking?
Drive faster.
What chances did you give her?
I kept reversing to go around and she kept jumping in front of the car. At one point she was jumping on the hood.
What the hell are you thinking at this point?
This bitch is nuts.
And what happened then?
I braked the bitch, she fell off, and then I blacked out after she grabbed back on.
Mm-hmm. Why are you saying you blacked out?
Because I don't remember what happened after that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times when somebody says they black out, they're just trying to hide from what happened, right? Like I said,
I don't remember anything after that. I don't know if it was my heart just pumping.
I think you do.
Mitchell reverses, and she ends up jumping onto the hood, trying to shake her off, and is trying to, get her to stop. He did say that he was contemplating using bear spray, but given the time frame and the traffic flow, he wasn't able to react. Instead, he just chose the way it was just taking off, and hopefully she would fall off.
She grabs on, and I speed forward.
And eventually she goes under?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
How fast were you going until she actually fell off? Roughly.
How fast was I going?
Yeah. The last time she fell off?
Almost 100.
Holy shit. So how far away from Centex gas are you?
We're at the beginning of the Home Depot. By the time we hit the end of the Home Depot, we're going 110.
And then she eventually falls off?
I don't know when the fuck she fell off.
She just kind of lets go. Is she screaming or anything? Or is it hard to move?
I have no clue.
So where do you get
a noisy truck?
So where do you guys go after that?
Get the fuck out of there.
Okay.
Fast.
That's ultimately the goal too, is just to try to find out what his mindset was. And in this case, I think we got to the truth on that he was just trying to get away.
Well, some BMW was following us too.
That's right, yes. What color?
Black.
Black. Was there anybody else following you?
And some white car. So I hammered the gas. We were going 160 down the road.
It was a bit of an adrenaline rush, and as for his mindset, I think he was just happy he got away. And then it was only till afterwards that he heard in the news that she ended up dying, is when I think they kind of panicked. He cried a few times and teared up.
So how do you feel about this whole thing?
Pretty bad.
Yeah. So it's a pad of paper, right?
Detective Bangloy suggested that Mitchell write Miriam's family an apology. In the letter, he said, "It shouldn't have happened. We tried to avoid injury to anyone." He said, "I can't live with myself knowing what I've done to your family." Still, Miriam's family wondered if there would be justice for her death.
Welcome back. A crime spree that began with the theft of a vehicle ended with a deadly gas and dash. Witness accounts, surveillance video, and forensic evidence all pointed to one person. But was this an unintentional killing, or was it murder? Here now is Nancy Hixt with the conclusion of a fatal decision.
Miriam Rashidi and her husband, Ahmad Narani Shalot, came to Calgary from Iran to build a better life for their son. But just months after they arrived, she was killed as she tried to stop a gas and dash.
He speaks about his mom, and he says me that, Dad, I missed Mom.
Charges against Joshua Mitchell were upgraded to second-degree murder. And in April of 2017, he stood trial.
The defense had offered a plea to manslaughter, but the Crown rejected it on the basis that there was a compelling argument that the requisite intent for murder was present. There couldn't really have been more evidence other than if the truck itself had a dash cam video recorder, because we had video of the crime being committed, the theft of the fuel and the truck being driven away. We had witnesses providing information as to what occurred on 16th Avenue and what Miriam Rashidi did. We had evidence from inside the truck as to what was being said and the mindset of Joshua Mitchell. And so we had everything that we needed, and therefore a very compelling case to put before the jury.
One by one, witnesses described the chaotic and devastating scene to jurors.
2 or 3 times he lurched, and then she lost her footing.
It was just such a big vehicle. It was so big. It could only end one way, yeah.
The passenger in Mitchell's stolen truck was also a key witness in the trial.
He provided some background on going into the Sentex, but most importantly, he spoke about what was said between him and Mitchell in the truck after the theft, and he also spoke about what he could hear the victim, Ms. Rashidi, saying outside of the vehicle. He saw the look of fear on her face, and he could also relate to the jury what it was that Mitchell was saying to her, you know, get off the truck, so that he could get away. So he provided, if I can put it this way, he provided color commentary for what occurred once the theft had been committed, up to and including the time Miriam Rashidi was run over.
Mitchell's own confession was played in court.
How many times is she on the hood and coming and
3 times.
3 times?
One time she jumped in and I jerked forward.
It wasn't probably as the prosecution wanted, that his attempts to knock her off the vehicle showed an intention to harm her. I think it was quite the opposite. It showed an intention, look, I don't want to harm you, so I'm trying to get you off this thing.
Defense conceded Mitchell stole the Ford F-350 truck he was driving when Miriam Rashidi was run over.
He was very proud of having that particular stolen truck. It had a lot of power, and he spoke a lot about how powerful the truck was, and he certainly drove it that day in a way that suggested he knew how much power it had, which made his use of that vehicle as a weapon all the more aggravating.
He also admitted to the theft of $113 worth of fuel and the charge of hit and run. But defense insisted it was manslaughter, not murder. However, the prosecution told jurors Miriam's death was no accident and said Mitchell had the power of life and death over her, and he chose death.
But the jury had a very difficult decision. The jury could easily find that Joshua Mitchell, by driving the way he did, intended to cause bodily harm, knowing that death was a likely result, and was reckless as to whether or not death ensued, because he was clearly going to get her off the vehicle no matter what the consequences. Conversely, the jury also had a compelling argument that he wasn't really trying to hurt her, he just wanted her to get off the vehicle. And that's what they would have struggled with in the jury room. The Crown's theory of intent and the defense's theory that this was an unintentional event. And I think because he was still a young man and really looked like a young man in the prisoner's dock, that would have weighed heavily on the jury. He certainly wasn't a hardened criminal, nor did he look like a hardened criminal.
The jury is now at a hotel for the night. They deliberated for nearly 6 hours after hearing closing arguments from both the Crown and defense. They are tasked with deciding if the death of Miriam Rashidi was manslaughter or murder.
10.5 hours later, they reached a verdict.
Calgary man has been convicted of manslaughter in a fatal gas and dash case. Joshua Mitchell admitted stealing $113 worth of gas and running over and killing a gas station attendant. Tonight, her widower says justice has not been served. Nancy Hixt is live at the courthouse. And Nancy, the Crown wanted second-degree murder. The jury, though, found Mitchell guilty of the lesser charge.
Gord, several of the jurors were in tears as the decision was delivered today. This was quite obviously a very difficult decision for them to make. And in the end, they found that this was manslaughter, not murder. That comes down to intent, and the jury didn't believe Mitchell intended to kill Rashidi.
Rashidi's husband was devastated to hear the verdict and told Global News, "I feel like justice was not served. I am very disappointed and I don't know what to tell my son in the future. We immigrated to live, not to die."
I think people mistakenly believe that being a juror is easy. It's really hard when you have to sit in judgment of a fellow citizen, and it was clearly very difficult for this jury to do what they did.
Mitchell again apologized to Miriam's family and said if he could trade places with her, he would. Her brother and mother had traveled from Iran to attend his sentencing and heard his expression of remorse firsthand.
We couldn't be for the trial before here, but we did our best to come here for this day to show Mariam that we support him and we wanted to be for her here.
The court imposed a sentence of 11 years, consisting of 10 years for the manslaughter, concurrent sentences for the lesser offenses, and 1 year consecutive for the hit and run, and then a lifetime driving prohibition.
Mitchell appealed, and the driving prohibition was reduced to 10 years.
So that he would have some hope of rehabilitation in the future and some hope of getting on in society.
And it just seemed to me that he was likely going to be someone whose shadow would never darken a courthouse door again.
A graveside service was held following the trial on Mother's Day of 2017.
She felt something wrong was happening and she was trying to correct it.
Yeah, it happened right around here.
Miriam's death continues to impact the witnesses and police officers who investigated the deadly hit and run.
I think about it every time I drive by. I'll look in the parking lot and I can sometimes see the truck driving through the parking lot quite fast.
I look at things a bit differently now. At first glance, this looks like, this is a horrible thing. That person should, justice should be served. I don't know, I found a bit of compassion, I think, for the offender. I really did. And I think there is room for both. I think there is room for compassion for both. Yeah, sorry, it's really emotional.
In our office, we had the front page of The Sun, which showed Miriam and with the title, She Died for $113. It's there as a constant reminder for the team that I lead. That's why we do what we do. We can speak for the victims, we can speak for the family, we can answer the who, what, when, where, hopefully the why for the families.
But no one was more impacted than her husband and son. They left Calgary shortly after she was killed. He said it was simply too hard to be in the city without her. Ahmad eventually remarried. His new wife became a mother to Karosh. But this case took another devastating turn. They had planned to return to visit Miriam's grave, but on the drive from BC to Calgary, on the Trans-Canada Highway near Golden, Ahmad, his new wife, and Karosh were involved in a tragic car crash. Exactly 2 years after losing his mother, Miriam's little boy witnessed his father's death.
Again, you've got family who come to Canada for a better life, and both parties, or mum and dad, husband and wife, are killed in two separate collisions.
Losing one parent in a traffic collision is horrific, but then to lose both parents?
Yeah, the whole situation is just, it's horrible. I mean, it really is horrible.
Since the death of his father, Karosh and his stepmother have built a new life together. She continues to honor what Ahmad and Miriam had always wanted for their son, to be raised in Canada.
A law requiring motorists to pay before they pump came into effect in Alberta in 2018, 3 years after Miriam Rashidi was killed. Joshua Mitchell was released on day parole in 2020. 6 months later, he was granted full parole. Miriam's son is an honor student and graduates from high school in 2027. Thank you for joining us tonight on Crime Beat. I'm Anthony Robart. Want more episodes of Crime Beat? Listen to the Crime Beat podcast now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. And for past episodes of Crime Beat, Go to the Global TV app, visit globaltv.com, or check out our Crime Beat YouTube page.